good evening and welcome. I am Greedy Smith from Mental as Anything, and you're in for a real treat tonight because I'm going to go through and talk about every single last little itty-bitty song in our new Fundamental as Anything album. It's bright red, and so will you be after I finish talking to you.
Thanks for joining us, Greedy. We're going to talk about the new Mentals album, Fundamental. The first track on side one is the first single from the album, You're So Strong. It's one of your songs. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Well, it's basically a utopian wish. It's a song about this fictitious girl. I hope somewhere in my heart of hearts that she actually exists. It's about having a girl who's really quite frightening to other people, and can walk down the street with you and sort of make sure that nobody gives you a hard time, and at parties and stuff like that, and so that nobody picks on you. She looks after you like that. But in private, behind closed doors, as Charlie Rich would say, she doesn't know her own strength. I mean, it's slightly risque. It's the first slightly naughty song I've ever written. I'm quite proud of it, really. It's a wonderful sentiment, and it's a phrase that I've noticed since the singles come out that everybody sort of uses all the time. They can't help but use it. It's just something that you can't help but say all the time. You're so strong.
So your track opens the album. Have we peaked already? How are we going to get people to listen to the rest of the interview?
Well, this is Greedy Smith here from Mental as Anything, and we've just started on a mammoth track-by-track rundown on our beautiful red-coloured album, sensibly called Fundamental as Anything. So keep your ears glued to the speakers.
Let's move on to the next track. It's called Big Wheel. What do you got here? This is a Martin Plaza composition.
Martin listens to a lot of that kind of funk music, particularly Australian bands like In Excess and The Models, and he's very keen. He's always had a bit of a bend that way, but he's moving away from his Beatles influence to a more black influence, I think, and one song that is really a big departure for us is Big Wheel.
As we know, the Shiny Red album, Fundamental, is out now, but on the way is a long-form video called Monumental as Anything. A video's always been a strong point with Mental as Anything, hasn't it?
Over the years, we've got quite a reputation for our videos. We've had some very unusual people working on them. Because we all went to art school together, we happen to know a few people who are interested in the visual side of things, and one of them is chap John Hughes, who worked on the Let's Cook film clip that was very popular in America. He's an artist too, and he recently did the You're So Strong clip, and it's quite a clever chappy. But they're usually very busy clips. The Beach Art people are experts at making really busy clips with thousands of images in them, everything from papier mache blue healers to sort of paintings of service stations and just all sorts of odd things. Santa wiping shaving cream off his face. I mean, we're pretty sick when it comes to videos, I think, all in all. So we thought it was about time we actually put them all together in some kind of a palatable form. So rather than just have a collection of clips, we had a story that followed on a bit from the story in the Apocalypso clip, which involved God and the devil. And so the story of the Monumental home video is who wins, God or the devil, and God narrates the whole video, which I think is pretty good. You couldn't get a better narrator than God. He gets a pretty good overview of things. And so it's quite an interesting thing. It's got lots of extra animation in it. It's introduced by Dixie Watley from Entertainment Tonight, and it features Chad Morgan, one of the most famous Australians, actually Australia's answer to Bruce Springsteen. And it features jumbo jets, animals, pieces of plastic, garden refuse, a lot of tinfoil. It's generally an extravaganza, and it's got some new clips too, including the new one for Live It Up, which is a bit different to the usual Mentals clip in that it's a bit more straightforward in some ways. It's you actually get to see what the band looks like, and we've all got neat clothes on, and we're standing there playing, which is well, I mean, for other bands, it's basically what you do when you do a film clip, but for us, it's a departure. So it's great. Now, but when I wrote this song, I thought about, oh, gee, it sounds like it could be a single, and the one thing I thought about is I thought, gee, if you do a video, I just got to get a bloodhound in there somewhere. And I wanted to dance with a bloodhound, and so it was really exciting making a film where I actually had to dance with a bloodhound in a $300 rented suit, and not knowing whether the dog was going to slobber over me or rip the suit to shreds. It's a great moment in my professional career.
And a good one too. I don't think you'll find many people that have danced with a bloodhound in a video clip.
Well, that's how I live it up.
And for your bass player Pete O'Doherty, surf and mull and sex and fun might be the way to live it up. That's the next track on the album. What can you tell us about it?
Well, this is a song that has been a constant source of embarrassment to me, in that I know people. My brother is a keen surfer, and he knows people who surf, and it's just, I thought at first that it was Peter taking the mickey out of the surfing community, but basically it's a celebration of surf culture, the language, and what surfers do. It's pretty self-explanatory: surf and mull and sex and fun.
And well, after that song is Good Friday, and we're at the end of side one.
Well, fundamentally speaking, that's half a red record. Well, fundamental as anything record, and we'll be back in a few minutes, where I've got a date with a girl called Destiny.
Well, let's flip it over. It's exciting. We've got another whole side to go with Grudy Smith.
Obviously, and I'm obviously talking about our new album. So please listen and pay attention.
Well, side two starts off just like side one with a Grudy Smith composition. It's Date with Destiny.
Yes, well, this A Date with Destiny is a song that I wrote. I wrote it in one form about 8 years ago. It didn't quite sound like it does now, but I liked the lyrics a lot because I thought they were pretty corny. But they still meant it. They were quite personal lyrics. So I thought, oh, well, I'll hang on to them. And then recently I think I started considering them in terms of Billy Idol, and he's always good for a laugh. But it didn't turn out like Billy Idol at all, actually. Richard had put a rather dazzling string line on them, which is very reminiscent of an American 60s quiz show. And Bob's Your Uncle. I got a date with a girl called Destiny.
So when the band set out to make this album, were you looking for something different? Is that why you've gone with an American producer?
What we were looking for was a good album, because it was going to be number 5. And 5 is an important number with records. 1, 3 and 5 we figure as being the important. The odd numbers are very important in recording, in the recording life of a band. I don't know why, but they always are. And we thought, well, we may as well get a producer that would keep ourselves happy and also our American label happy. They wanted to get us something to sound good on radio. So, and we wanted that too, but we wanted somebody who'd be sympathetic to the kind of material that we were working on. And Richard Goddard seemed quite good, and he brought an engineer with him too, which came in handy. Tom Panunzio, he'd worked with Phil Spector on John Lennon's rock and roll album, and Walls and Bridges, I think he did that one too, and he basically got his start in the record business by happening to know Bruce Springsteen, and worked on the Darkness on the Edge of Town album and a couple of other albums apart from that. So we thought, at least he's got his credentials. He should be a fairly useful sort of engineer. And so they made quite an interesting team.
What do you see as the role of the producer, especially in an established band like the Mentals?
As far as I'm concerned, the main job of a producer is to be an objective ear. And that's basically what you're looking for in a producer, is an objective ear. But we specifically were after somebody who would help us with the arrangements of the songs. And I think, Richard succeeded in that. He made some of the songs in the last album tended to be a bit weird. It was intended that way. It was very atmospheric and weird, but very tricky to play live. Whereas this album is much more direct. The arrangements are a lot more open. the songs I think have turned out stronger because they're more uncomplicated. It's not simplistic, but they're uncomplicated, and it means that you can people can dance to them, and they can follow the words, and that was the idea of this record. That's why it's called Fundamental. Here's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece of rubbish written by the bass player from Mental as Anything. Hold On.
So Hold On's one of Pete's songs. It's perhaps a little bit unusual that there's so many songwriters in the band, including yourself. Do you all write with the same style in mind?
Well, I think everybody in the band has a different attitude towards songs. That's why it's good to have a lot of writers in the band, because everybody takes a slightly different direction. On this album, it seems to divide itself up between Martin's songs, which tend to be more rhythmic and funky on this album, and Peter's, which tend to have rather unusual lyrics and be quite, well, I think stroppy is the word for it. There's a bit of romance in some of them, but they're mainly fairly stroppy lyrics. And Reg's, which are just downright weird. That's basically, he's a strange customer. I know, I've worked with him for years, but he never ceases to amaze me. If I may mention, there's one song in particular, Stones of the Heart, the middle eight of which I've never heard anything like it in my life. I've got a brand new spiritual spear strapped to my thigh. I mean, things like that. I mean, he's a twister, definitely.
And he also wrote the next song on the album.
A word of advice to the weak. There is nothing so dangerous as a free drink. I just want to be happy.
And the next track on the album makes it 3 songs in a row, and can we call it another Reg Mombassa classic?
Very interesting that Splashing is right after I Just Want to Be Happy, because Splashing is about Reg making a mess of himself again. In fact, specifically about Reg, somebody getting into trouble with their girlfriend and doing something bad, and then having to leave and walk out and end up in a nightclub, and instead of checking his coat at the hat check, he checks his bottle of porter, which is like Irish beer. So it's a very emotional song, Splashing On. It's one of my favourites.
And then the final track on the album, is it possible that Mental as Anything could be the only band that record a song about a bus ride?
This is unbelievable, this song. Bus Ride is actually based on a true story that when Martin drives a 1962 VW, and it didn't work one day, and he had to sort of leave it there, and we had a meeting at our office up the junction, and he had to catch a bus, and he hadn't been on public transport for years, you know, because he'd always, ever since I'd known him in art school, he always had a VW of some description, and so it's basically his joy at being on a bus. It's ridiculous, but it's a very pleasant song, and it's got features the marvellous backing vocals of Sandy Chick and Mary Bradfield Taylor, who sing with all the best people, Rock Melons, In Excess, to name but a few. I think they both sang on the Apocalypso as well.
Well, Bus Ride's the final song on the album. I guess we should wrap it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a song sponsored by the Urban Transit Authority. Come on, all aboard, we'll take a trip on a bus ride.
Well, thank you, Greedy.
Okay, I'm going now. I've talked to you all, and I've told you about the fundamental things of life, but I've got a riddle for you. What's black and white and red all over? No, it's not a newspaper. It's Mental as Anything's new album.
Congratulations on Fundamental. It's another great Mental as Anything record. It's probably time to go. Do you have any parting words?
Well, this is Greedy signing off from the Mental as Anything corner, where I've just done it. I've been through the whole of our album, Fundamental as Anything. So, ta-ta, be good and keep clean.